Yo, what is up, guys? This is the Brick Dough here, and today I wanted to talk about, just an interesting discussion. What could be the next $800 UCS set? So, as you guys know, in 2017 we got the UCS Millennium Falcon. 2019 we got the UCS Star Destroyer, and just very recently we have the UCS AT-AT. So, it begs the question. We're sort of on this 2-year trek of, I guess the Star Destroyer is $700, but that's $700 to $8. Highly priced sets. What's going to be the next big UCS set. And I just sort of want to talk about it here, maybe go through a discussion. There's 2 articles on Bricklink that sort of, in my opinion, kind of prompted this video. One of them talks about, the UCS set that could follow the AT-AT. This isn't necessarily sets that, are in that $800 price range, but mostly just, original Trilogy sets. And then there's also a video about, which sets could follow the Republic gunship. So these are all prequel sets. So I kind of want to go through some of these and maybe which of these ideas could be that, $700 to $800 price range. In my opinion, when you think about the $700, $800 range, there's not a ton of sets that could fit that mold, in my opinion, and do it right and it be a great set. So you're kind of limited by that. Now you see on the thumbnail, I have the UCS Death Star 2 there. In my opinion, this is the most logical follow-up for the next, $700, $800 UCS set. We haven't had a UCS Death Star really since, in that model scale, since when that came out. I want to say like 2003 or so, 2005 maybe. And to me, that is one of my grail sets, that UCS Death Star 2. It is super priced right now. It's about $2,000 new, $2,500 new, somewhere around there. It's crazy expensive. So it's kind of become out of touch, I think, for a lot of, collectors now, maybe looking to pick it up, even in used shape. So it's one of those things where, I think it needs an update just from a modeling standpoint, and B, it's just become really hard to get on the secondary market. So for me, that's one of the main reasons why I'd like to see one of those. And I think they could do a lot with that, not only with making it bigger in size. I don't know how much bigger it would be than the older UCS one. That was honestly pretty big if you ever saw it in person. But I think just the level of detailing and sort of the strength of the build and design, if you guys have ever seen like a speed build of it or just gone through the instructions of it online, it's very interesting kind of building techniques being used there that I'm not sure would hold up to today's standards of Lego design and whatnot. So I think there's just a lot of improvements to make internally to that as well. And then also too, I think just the external part of it, could use a little bit of a cleanup. But for me, that's my number one, and those are the reasons why. But I think there's some also interesting ones that we can discuss here, and maybe why that might be a good option or a possibility for that next $700, $800 UCS set in 2 years. All right, so we'll just go ahead and go through the basically original Trilogy sets first. So some of these have been tossed around quite a lot, and obviously won't be that price range, so we can kind of skip over these, including the Land Speeder. So in general, these bases, here's kind of my opinion of it. You could easily make these, right, like super big, $700, $800. You can make it massive, but it just sort of fits more in line with that Master Builder series. So I think this being, a potential $350 set, whatever, is much more in line of what we'd actually get. Even though I think you could easily justify or easily, sort of conceptualize a huge, sort of massive, detailed sort of battle or scene for these bases, or like I know that the prequels too, like the Geonosis arena, like that would be a great one, I think, to just go all out with. But mostly I think this is in line with a Master Builder set. So those, in my opinion, are kind of out of the window. And then something like the Nemelan B frigate, you could make this thing huge, right? It's a large ship in Galaxy and whatnot, but I just don't think it has the popularity to really demand that price. So it kind of comes down to 2 things, right? Like, is the actual ship, vehicle, whatever, is that sort of, in line with the demand of, do people want this? Do people want to spend $700, $800 on that set? And then also too, right, is it just like, does it just make sense as far as like scale wise to make it that big? So although this might fit like sort of the scale piece of it, I don't think it fits the demand piece. Okay, so Jabba's Palace, I put this in kind of like a maybe category. Again, probably a bit more in the Master Builders sort of line. But if they made this like super detailed, almost more like an architecture style type of set, I could see this, really getting up there in piece count. But I would say definitely a big stretch, not really super realistic. This is the one I'd like to focus on, is this Java sail barge. They have this here as like a potentially $700 one. And originally I just could not see that, but after the release of the Titanic, I do think that a super, large scale, very long sort of ship like this could be a possibility. There's just a lot of stuff going on with it. And again, I think in practicality, we've only gotten play sets of this, but it's a much larger, sort of lengthier ship than what we've sort of gotten from Lego. So I think seeing that in more of a realistic sort of size or scale would be kind of a cool UCS set. But does that have the demand? It's kind of tough. I think this is probably most likely out of all these options in this article, but I'm not sure even this has sort of maybe the capability of sort of pushing it over the line of deserving, $700-800 that sort of price tag. But this is the one I would personally like to see, apart from the UCS Death Star. But again, I think very interesting concept, and probably more sort of practical after that we saw Titanic just release. Again, this Calamari Star Cruiser, kind of the same as the Nebulon, it's same points basically there. And then we sort of have this Endor scene, right? Like the same deal, Master Builder series all the way, in my opinion, but doesn't really have that $700-800 price tag UCS style, I think, in it. So, and then we'll go ahead and go to the prequel. So start from the top here. So that, again, this is something where it's like, this droid control ship. You could easily make this a ton of pieces and make it super detailed, but there's no way this set has the the demand to sort of reign that super pricey price tag. So I don't really see that happening. Now the MTT, this is actually one that I think is a possibility. I think there's a lot of collectors that would really enjoy seeing an all-out MTT. Like, it's a ton of battle droids, like a full size. It has 36 here. I think it probably it would fit even more, where it would just be kind of like almost like to scale as far as like how many battle droids and stuff you have in there. I think it would just be sort of a cool display piece, and kind of in line with in my opinion with like a sandcrawler. Like, you could definitely do a $100 sandcrawler. It's just that we've already gotten one at the $300 price level in 2013 maybe, or something like that. So it's hard to say that they already made one for $300 or something relatively recently. I just don't see them going up to that $800 range until many years pass, and they can really make some significant changes based on new pieces available and whatnot. So that's why I would say the MTT is a possibility, but a lot of these prequel sets I think they've steered away from. So all these I think have a very long shot. But the MTT is actually one I would like to see in the future. Not sure if it really has that sort of next one capability. There's definitely some ones probably in front of it, but yeah, overall, I think it would be interesting to see. Discussed this already. Definitely really want to see this. I think a lot of fans want to see this too. To me, this needs to be the next Master Builder series set. I just think it'd be awesome. Honestly, I just be really interested to see what designers could do. I think you just get a great sort of collection of minifigures too, Jedi. And yeah, I just think this would be awesome. I'd love to see that. Okay, this is probably honestly the most talked about sort of UCS set is a Venator. There's been so much discussion around it, and they just haven't really done anything with it. So it's hard for me to be like, yeah, this is going to be a $700 set, because we haven't got this really updated in any scale in such a long period of time. But to me, you could just make this basically the same scale as like a Star Destroyer. It would look fantastic and could easily fetch, that price tag is just be ginormous, and obviously have a ton of pieces. So makes a lot of practical sense, but LEGO just seems to be steering away from this a lot. So I'd be surprised. All right, so then this is another interesting one. The Invisible Hand, I just don't think it has the popularity, but again, scale-wise, size-wise, it does make sense to be in sort of that price range, or it could be, but I just don't really see that happening. That sort of like wraps up a lot of these ones. It's like the Jedi Temple, again, if you did it sort of like a architecture style scale, you could definitely do it, but I just don't know if the demand's there. And this is really complicated with these $700, $800 sets, is you really need both of those to be sort of in line, right? And it's hard to see. It's really hard to think of ones that LEGO is actually probably going to give the go on for that sort of price range. It's tough to see. I think the one that makes the most sense, like I said, is the Death Star 2, but who knows what they're going to do. I'm sure they'll They could consider even something from like the newer Trilogy or any of the TV shows that are out. They could definitely consider those as well. I just don't really see them doing it. They haven't been really, messed around with any UCS sets in that sort of era. So I'd be surprised to see them just go all out. But again, I guess we can probably expect one coming here in 2023. And it's always fun to try and speculate, think about, which could be the next one. And those are sort of just my thoughts. So basically, in my opinion, most likely would probably be the Death Star. Next up, I think you could see like a Venator or something in line of like a Jabba's sail barge would probably be like third. So I'd say like those three personally would be the ones I would want to see and I think have a chance. But even at that, it seems like it's hard to guess these ones. Overall, though, I really like sort of those large scale $700, $800 sets. They're just really cool, really unique. And I sort of just present like a kind of collecting goal to eventually get some of those, So those are sort of my thoughts here. Let me know what you guys think about, these $700, $800 sets and what you guys think might be the next one. Interested to hear your thoughts. Always fun to speculate about this. And, even though we're probably 2 years out, it's just a good discussion. So if you guys are new here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, guys, it's the Brick Duo signing off.